close the night out right, panel at the table, in that half-dead light. Miss Robin in the middle, calling every shot, directing and producing, till the story runs hot. 1-1 from the city, badge heavy on his chest, towing that long like a wicked chain, spitting facts, no rest. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right, tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. JJ in the corner, state of the deep in his head. Which lies to toss and which ones to keep instead? Dago from the cafe says forget about it, leans back, spins his thoughts like a blade cutting holes in the track. Lee at the front, head advocate, steady stare, every word like a warning, every silence a dare. All of them leaning in, clock crawling, eyes bright, every secret feels louder than the buzzing of the night. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right, tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. You can bury it in paper, you can lock it in a file, but the truth bleeds through, drip by drip, tile by tile. We're dragging it to daylight, name by name, line by line. If you wrote it in the shadows, we'll read it out this time. Yeah. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right, tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite.
All right. Hey, let's get our shit together. Are we good? No? Are we good? Yeah. All right. All right. All right. So welcome back to another Crimes After Dark. I am back in my home studio on the West Coast of the United States. Time adjustments have been made. I've got some sleep. I was in rough shape coming back from the long trip to Kentucky, to London, Kentucky, which I don't want to say it was a fail because, you know, at the end of the day, Sabrina Atkins got some restitution for what happened to her. So, and I believe that she's happy with that. But I'd like to talk about that a little bit, give you my experience in the courtroom and what happened and what we did without hopefully dominating everyone's time, because I know we have panelists that want to talk and I don't want to run the whole thing. But I do want to share with you, so hopefully we can have a discussion about it so we can get your input on it as well. So let's go ahead and bring up the panelists. We'll talk a little bit about my trip to London, Kentucky, why I was there, what happened, what I saw, give you some insights. And then we'll talk a little bit about how bad the legal system is in America. I got an insight into how bad the legal system is in America from what happened in London, Kentucky, and I'll share my thoughts on that. So let's bring our panelists up on stage in the order that they're backstage. You got Dago first. What is going on tonight?
Forget about it. Welcome back, sir.
I'm glad to be back. I mean, I'm ready to start working. Like, I feel like I've been really all over the place and traveling a lot lately, and I don't have any trip planned until CrimeCon, which is in May. So I feel like I can settle down and now start doing some work. So
I was gonna say, hopefully we'll have you for a while now. So yes, that'll be good.
I'm excited. Yeah.
You've been gone so long, my hair fell out. See anything different?
Damn. Yeah. Well, hey, it happens. Yeah, it happens.
My ears dropped. My hair fell out. All that.
Nice. Good job. You're cleaning up. You're looking good. So I know you guys have been talking about shit that I haven't even been able to keep up on. You went back through some new videos or whatever of Dylan's interviews and stuff. Is that what you did today?
Or? I did go back through after they dropped the text messages and all that stuff. I kind of went back and I said, what's changed? There's some changes. There's a lot of changes actually from what we originally heard. So we've been breaking it down for a few days. We went back and looked into Bill Thompson's alleged corruption, whatever you want, prosecutorial misconduct. We did that. And then Dylan and all of that stuff. So I went back. Finally, I went through all the other interviews, and then I got to Vicky Gucci's interview today with her, the big one, the long one, and wow. That's all I can say is wow.
Let's bring the whole panel up and let's talk about that. I want to hear what your insights are if you got stuff to share. But again, I also want to talk about London, Kentucky. So
yeah, of course.
I'm excited to get into that with you. And so let's put that on the back burner for the moment. Logan, how are you doing this evening?
Excellent. How are you?
What was your? Did you do a live today or no?
I did do a live today. I am currently in the process of editing a video that I dug into Bill Thompson last night pretty deep into some cases, and it's pretty gross.
I also am looking forward to hearing that. I have my suspicions about his career. We talked the other night about maybe he has an unprecedented track record of 30 years not going to trial. That's one of the things I want to talk about tonight, by the way. I want to talk about our broken legal system and how things don't go to trial anymore. Our entire legal system is broken, in my opinion. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Who's close to 5K? Are you close to 5? Or is it Logan's channel? Or are you getting?
Yeah, you guys need to subscribe.
Nice. Congratulations on getting that very close.
4K to 5K has taken so long, especially now that YouTube isn't putting our stuff out there anymore.
I've noticed this month has been horrendous for me, and it sounds like for you as well.
It's getting bad.
It's been really bad.
Is it because they're cracking down on true crime, or is it just, what's going on?
Well,
it seems like everybody's content is not being pushed out, and they did something with the homepage too, right, Dago?
Yep. Yeah, there's I'll say this much, okay? This time of year is not the best, first and foremost, okay?
Yeah, right. This is the worst time of year for YouTube and ads and
But yeah, Logan's right. They've done some weird shit. I don't know what they're doing, why they're doing it, but like she's noticed it, I've noticed it, you've noticed it, Mikey's noticed it, my producer, he's got a channel too. Other channels are having the same problems, I think, but I also noticed they're doing some weird things. Like a lot of people have been unsubscribed from channels, not just mine, not just Logan's, other channels too that are saying they're complaining about it. So I don't know what they're doing back there, but they're doing it wrong. So I feel like they're not putting, I almost feel like I was shadow banned. Like my numbers just like in a very quick time.
And I got to tell you, like it's had a little bit of we got to get the rest of the panel up here, but I've had a little bit of an emotional toll with it because it makes me feel like, wow, nobody gives a shit about anything we're saying anymore.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, what am I doing wrong? And maybe I am doing a lot of things wrong. I feel like we're out of routine. So I think there's things that I can do to improve our channel. But yeah, it's made me feel like I must suddenly suck because everything just seems to suck lately. So yeah.
Depressing.
Well, we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, as we get the rest of our panel up. Let's get Robin. Robin, how are you doing this evening?
Hello there. How are you guys?
Mute you because it usually mutes you when you talk.
Am I muted?
No, not yet. You're good.
Okay. Yay. We won't talk too loud because then it'll get bitchy and So, well, it's good to be here with everyone. And please, let's help Logan hit that 5,000 people. Let's get on over to her channel and press the subscribe button. Get to those notifications and make sure they're turned to all. do that on all 3 of our channels. Double check yourself. Even if you think you're subscribed, you may not be any longer because of all the stuff YouTube is doing.
Yes.
So make sure you like the video on all 3 channels. Please, please, people. You have no idea how much it means to us and how much it helps us. You have no clue. And make sure you comment in the live comments, and also if you are so inclined after the video ends tonight,
Yes.
comment. The more interaction you have, the more you can help us, and it's free. So please, I
Right.
beg of you.
Right. It's free. It doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't cost a cent.
If it's free, it's me. It should be a done deal.
Right.
So,
Nothing's better than free.
Yeah. All right. Any special highlights before we bring up our famous 1-1 and have him do our
Nope.
monologue to read us in for
Nope.
that? Okay. Well, then
I'm just being the hype girl tonight. That's it.
I
That's
love
what I
it.
am.
Yeah.
I'm the hype.
I feel like I
I'm
need to pick
hyper
me
and
up. Like,
hyped up.
Hype
yeah,
it up.
I'm not convinced that I'm not doing something wrong, but if at least it helps a little bit that other people are saying that they're experiencing.
Neither am I.
So,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you guys are great. There's 1-1.
1-1.
Good evening. You gotta hype that shit to the end of time.
Whatever you just said.
Yeah, we can't understand it.
You have it too high.
You need to get yourself sorted out, sir.
How is everyone?
Good to see you again. I'm glad to be back. And how are you? What's new in your world? Like anything new?
I'm great.
All
Anything
right.
special?
Sure. So today I'm still in my captain's class. So
Yeah.
today was a whole day of public speaking and active listening. Interesting. So
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, exactly.
That was good.
Interesting stuff. So, the people, what I've stated before, all of the lieutenants that recently got promoted with me. Well, we're still at 9, so we haven't lost anyone else along the way yet. We did start with 10. Some of these people have been, they're in all different units, and so now you get promoted as an executive, being captain. You will be doing a lot of speaking, whether to the community or to the higher ups. So you kind of have to get comfortable with speaking. So we did all these different exercises. So they paired us with a partner, and we got like a random index card. And guess which one, it had random topics that have like a controversy with them. And we didn't know what was going to be on the card, and we just had to go on the fly and talk. And then they kind of critiqued us and rated us. So myself and the other captain that I was paired with, we got stop and frisk.
Nice.
And
Nice.
I could have. It was only 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I could have talked for 3 hours.
That
I think they were trying. They were trying to like boot me off the stage. They're like, "What the hell is this?" I mean, everyone up there can talk about stop and frisk, but
Yeah.
it just also kind of helps that doing podcasts every night and
Right.
talking on here. And Robin and myself, we covered we did a whole show just on Luigi and Terry stops.
Right.
The whole show was about that. So
Right.
it was,
Yeah.
but you could tell that although obviously like this was in a smaller classroom type setting, there's nothing really at risk. It's it's just a practice, but you could tell that some of the people involved were like really nervous, so they haven't done a lot of speaking and
Well,
whatnot.
tell 'em
So you
tell 'em
just
to
gotta
come
get
on
used
our
to it.
YouTube channel. We'll give them public speaking time to practice.
One of the people leading the class, was kind of asking me like, oh, because you have to stand up. Like obviously, like we're all sitting down here, but you have to stand up, and a big thing is eye contact. How are you? Some people, even they get nervous, so they might look up or whatever. And then usually like within 30 seconds, people generally start to get calmer as they're talking. But some people talk extremely, other than Lee, because you talk fast all the time. But some people, and they're nervous. They're just like, oh my God, yeah, and we got to do this, blah, blah, blah. And they just, it's like so fast. So they were trying to ask me like, oh, how am I able to, keep so calm and talk? But I didn't want to reveal that I speak on a podcast pretty much every night. So I have a lot of practice.
It's a little different, though.
There is like
it's
different.
An intimidation factor getting in front of a room of people versus on a camera where it's just you and a camera.
It is.
Like there's not 1,000 people looking at you. Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone's afraid of saying the wrong thing, and you're the target of attention. So it's like, God forbid you say the wrong thing, and but I don't know. You kind of just get used to it.
Yeah.
You wing it. Do it live.
You've gotten a lot of practice articulating yourself.
Yes.
Speaking of practice, why don't you read us in a monologue and let's kick this mother off?
Sure.
Woo!
Is it good to be alive in a den on a Wednesday night, right? Today's Wednesday? Yeah.
Yep.
I think so. All right. Juliana.
All day.
Jackson, my beautiful wife. Love you guys. Have a good night. Here we go. There's a kind of darkness that only shows up after midnight. Not the kind that comes from turning off the lights. The other kind. The kind that settles over a town after something unspeakable has happened and nobody can pretend the world is normal anymore. Moscow, Idaho. Learn that darkness on November 13th, 2022. One house, 1122 King Road. A quiet college town that had barely seen violence in years suddenly became the center of one of the most brutal crimes in modern memory. Inside that house were 4 students who had no idea their lives were about to collide with something monstrous. Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Connerl, and Ethan Chapin. 4 young people, 4 futures. 4 families that would wake up to a nightmare no parent should ever have to face. And somewhere in the cold hours before dawn, a killer walked through that house, room by room, floor by floor, steel in his hand, violence in the dark. No alarms, no screams that brought help in time, just a silence so heavy it still hangs over this case like a fog. Then the investigation begins. Weeks of fear, rumors in the streets, students looking over their shoulders, parents pulling their kids out of school, a town holding its breath while the world demanded answers. And finally, a name, a man studying the psychology of criminals at Washington State University, a criminology PhD candidate who had spent years analyzing how killers think, how they plan, how they escape. Brian Koberger. Police say the evidence points straight at him. A knife sheath left behind, DNA, a white Hyundai Elantra moving through the darkness of Moscow streets, cell phone signals flickering in and out of the night, a timeline built from digital shadows. But the deeper you stare into this case, the darker it feels. Because this wasn't just violence, it was precision. It was timing. It was a killer moving through a house full of people and disappearing before the sun ever rose. And the question that haunts this case isn't just who, it's why. Why that house? Why those victims? Why would a man who studied criminal behavior allegedly walk straight into one of the most horrifying crimes imaginable? Did he think he understood murder well enough to commit the perfect one? Or is the story we've been handed only part of the truth? Because, on Devil's Advocates, we don't whisper the safe version of events. We step into the uncomfortable parts. The timelines that don't quite line up. The evidence people argue about. The questions that refuse to stay buried. Some believe this case is already solved. Others believe the real story is still hiding somewhere in the shadows. Tonight, we walk into the darkness surrounding Brian Koberger and the Idaho 4. The evidence, the theories, the fractures in the narrative, because when the world stops asking questions, that's when the truth usually disappears. And here on Devil's Advocates, we don't let the darkness hide it. With that, live from New York, it's Wednesday night.
All righty. And by the way, thank you for that monologue. And thank you for all that you guys do on the panel. Thank you for holding on the fort always gone. And thank you, by the way, for the people who say that they missed me. I will try to be brief, but I am still dealing with 30 years of being told, you arrogant prick, nobody gives a shit what you have to say. Why don't you shut the hell up? And that's what I've been told for 30 years. Nobody cares what you have to say. So it's weird still to me, after 30 years of being beaten down and told that nobody gives a shit what you have to say, and you're arrogant if you think anybody cares anything what you say, for people to say, we missed you and we want to hear what you have to say. It's still a weird fucking thing for me. But anyways, I'm getting better at it because so I appreciate you guys.
So
yes, we did. Very much so.
Congratulations, Logan and Believers.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of you.
Did you make it?
Much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations.
You guys are
Very
so
cool.
amazing.
It's funny when you mentioned that you thought you'd never get there. I remember when I first started YouTube, I said, the requirement of having 1,000 subscribers before you can monetize is ridiculous. No one can hit 1,000. It's a fucking stupid number. I was like, this is stupid. You can't get to 1,000. And then I got to 1,000. And then I was like, oh, things will change if you hit this number. And then I was like, that's impossible. You can't hit that number. And then all of a sudden we hit that. But it feels like it's molasses. It feels like it's watching molasses just slowly roll down the sidewalk.
It is.
Yeah.
I sat at 10K for like 11 months, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm fucking sick of this shit. And then boom, that's all it took.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is what it is. So I'm glad that you've reached that milestone. The hardest part is to not look at the numbers every day, because it feels like it's going a lot slower than it probably is. I think you're doing pretty good speed, and you should be proud of yourself for the growth that you've had. So
you are doing amazing.
It's been a while. I feel like I got to like 3,500 really fast, and then it kind of just like stopped a little bit.
Same. It happened the same way with me. And you'll probably blow through this and be at like 7 in a month.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. But it's not all about the numbers. We just as someone told me, just keep doing you and forget about the numbers will come. And so I'm trying to remind myself to quit worrying about the numbers every fucking day and just do the thing you do.
Yeah.
You do the voodoo that you do so well. And
good luck with that, Lee. Good luck.
Yeah, I know. I still
You're just like I am, just like me.
Well, that's very cool that you reached that milestone.
Yes.
And I'm glad that we got to be here to celebrate it with you. And it's awesome. It's awesome to reach that. And I'm sure the sky is the limit. Just keep plugging along.
It's awesome.
It's awesome, baby. It's awesome, baby. All right, let's talk about, before we get into all the other stuff, can I give you guys a little update on London, Kentucky's trip?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, let's do it.
Let me say, it's been an honor. I've been welcomed into a community in Letcher County of victims that have been victimized and marginalized in that area. And I got to talk to a lot of people and get a lot of, I got really close to this case. And by this case, I mean the Sabrina Atkins versus Ben Fields trial that was coming up, the civil trial for the civil damages. Thank you, Grace Kirk, for the announcement on the screen. Appreciate that very much, and congrats to Logan as well. Yeah, that's very, very cool. So here's what happened. To tell you several things. I suspected, so this is a civil trial. Sabrina Atkins is suing Ben Fields in his individual and professional capacity, as well as Letcher County Sheriff's Office, for basically not having policies and procedures in place and fostering an environment that allowed a sheriff's deputy to abuse women and put them on house arrest, and then basically trade sexual favors for getting off of house arrest, or you go back to jail if you don't play ball. And again, Ben Fields was convicted of criminal charges and was sentenced to 7 years, I believe, and spent 6 months of that in jail. And now the civil trial is coming. And I said to a lot of people, The civil trial is where the dirt really comes out, because the criminal trial is much more straightforward. It's like, did you or did you not commit a crime? But then it's like, let's talk about how much money should it be awarded. And that's when all the details come out. And so I was kind of rubbing my hands together going, okay, here we go. And yet in the back of my mind, I said, these things usually settle because somebody's going to try to pay off Sabrina Atkins, and so that she doesn't go to trial and doesn't talk. Now, here's where I'll go with that. I had a lot of inside voices, and I was told and 100% confirmed in the courtroom. They were ringing her phone off the hook, trying to make offers to her right up to the night before the trial. They kept calling her and offering numbers. And I was like, holy shit, is that really happening? Yeah, they were working their ass off to make an offer that she couldn't refuse. So it sounds like The Godfather. So I'll tell you this. I go to the courthouse. I'm there early. There's nobody there. I go up to the fourth floor where the case of Sabrina Atkins versus Ben Fields is going to be. There was one man sitting there on a bench. I sat next to him. He was an older gentleman in a 3-piece suit. And I thought to myself, he kind of looks like an attorney, but I kind of let it go. The next person I saw was Sabrina Atkins herself and family walking up to me, and she recognized me and I recognized her. So we had a moment in the hallway, and that was it. It was, and she said, by the way, have you met my attorney? You've been sitting next to my attorney on that bench. So we all had a little hallway talk. The bailiff came and opened up the courtroom. It was a beautiful courtroom in a federal building in London, Kentucky. And it was pretty much 4 of us at the back. They told us to sit at the very, very back row. The reason being is that the jury pool was literally being assembled right now on the main floor. I was walking in with jurors, potential jurors, as the jury pool was being assembled. They were going to do voir dire that morning and basically let the attorneys pick the 12 jurors that would see the case that day. So I was going to watch the voir dire process. The jurors were coming in with me, and I went past them upstairs and sat with the attorney and Sabrina waiting for the trial to start. Jurors were downstairs getting their jury instructions. And then in came an entourage of like 6 attorneys in suits, and Ben Fields right there, bigger than shit, and Sheriff Billy Jones from Letcher County Sheriff's Department walked right past me, all of them. It was a weird moment. You know, you're talking shit about Ben Fields and he walks right past you and gives you the eye. And you're like, does he recognize me? Do I recognize him? Anyways, it was kind of a weird moment, right? So they had reams of papers. They had boxes on wheeled carts that they were bringing in, his legal team. So let me tell you this. I was a little surprised. I didn't understand how it was going to work. There were 2 legal teams there because there was really 2 entities being sued. Ben Fields and his individual and professional capacity, and he had his own attorney. And then the sheriff's department, Letcher County, had his own attorney and set of attorneys. So there was 2 benches for the defense, one for Letcher County and one for Ben Fields, sitting right in front of each other. And then off to the other side was little old Sabrina Atkins and her one attorney and his assistant. So that was kind of the look of things. There was just, again, me and a couple of her family in the back at the very, very back row with empty pews in front of us, like 4 empty pews. They called the thing to order. And to my total not surprise, the attorney for Ben Fields stood up and said, Your Honor, I have an announcement to make. I've been told we've reached a settlement. It's in writing. And I haven't even had a chance to look at it yet, but it's been agreed upon. I need to look it over. The judge was a little annoyed and said, well, we're here for a trial and the jury's downstairs and ready to come up. You've got 12 minutes to settle this. So they all huddled together. They went back into the judge's chambers. They came back. He convened court and said, we've reached a settlement. He brought the jurors up and told them that he appreciated their service, but they're no longer needed because we reached a settlement within 12 minutes of the jury being seated. And that was fucking it. And
it's crazy.
Yeah, and the judge said, and this is where I want to do my little thing to get the panel involved, because I've done a lot of talking. The judge gave a very impassioned speech, trying to tell the jurors that their time wasn't wasted. By the way, as a quick note for those who don't do jury duty, 40 jurors were summoned, 38 showed up, and the judge said, we're going to find out why the 2 people aren't here that are supposed to be here, and we'll put sanctions against them if they don't have a good excuse why they're not here. So take your jury duty seriously when you do get it. Having said that, he knew that they might feel a certain way, that they just wasted their time coming and going through the whole process just to come up and be told, thanks for your service, go home. His speech to them was basically this. You still served a very important capacity today because the lawyers knew that the jury was in the building and ready to see the case, pressured them to make a deal so that it wouldn't go to you as jurors. And I think to myself, that almost still sounds insulting. Like, look, your job is just to intimidate the parties into realizing that if they turn it over to your hands, they could win or lose. So you better work out a deal before the jury sees it. So he told them that they had done their job, that the intimidation factor of the jury being in the building was enough to come to a resolution. Thank you for your service and have a nice day, which I just felt was a little insulting. And the last thing I want to say about it before I turn it over to the panel is that the judge also said this is typically what happens in civil cases, that they reach a settlement at the last minute. So let me break this down for you. Only 3 to 5% of trials in this country go to trial, whether it's criminal or civil. Criminal cases, 95% of the time end in a plea deal and never go to trial. Civil cases, 95% or more, 97%, go to a settlement and never go to trial. Only about 3 to 5% of cases in America actually make it to trial. And there's a thing in America that lawyers and judges are saying, we are losing our country because the trial system is being eroded. Trials mean nothing anymore. It used to be when this country was founded, everything was based on a trial by your peers. And now everything is backdoor deals. Everything is plea deals before it ever gets shown in the courtroom. Nobody ever sees any evidence. The jury never sees anything. The public never hears anything. Handshakes are done behind closed doors, and everyone is left with a completely non-transparent system. And that's the new way of doing business. I feel like we are losing this country. We're losing transparency. There's no transparency. It's all backroom deals. I don't know how you feel about it. And the last thing before I want to say this is not a slight on Sabrina Atkins. I said it and I mean it. Sabrina needs to do what's best for her and her family. If they made her a number that's life-changing money and she gets to slap somebody down for that, then I can't begrudge her that. But what it did, and this is not her fault, she needs to do what's right for her family. But it robbed everyone in America of seeing the injustice and holding them accountable, because a lot of times in a plea deal, they don't admit any fault. What they say is, I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and pay you because I could be found guilty and I don't want to take that risk. So while I'm saying I did nothing wrong here, let me pay you off so that it goes away. And again, it's not a slight to Sabrina. She needs to worry about her family and her life, but it left us an empty hole of all of that dirty deeds. Essentially got told, hey, we didn't do anything wrong and we get to go along business as usual. Now they can't keep making payments like that all the time and survive. But what do you guys think about the erosion of the trial system in America? Are you aware of how bad it is that things don't go to trial?
Yeah. It's like you said, it's gone. I would say it's already dead. It's we need to make awareness and getting the right people, the right people in politics and change some laws and change some things. But it's going to take it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot to make a movement. And I just think we're such on a downhill slope, and you've said it many times. I feel that the only trial that really goes on, if it even gets to that, because how many cases, how many things go, all the unheard and sad victims that don't get any, publicity, get nothing. But the ones that do, right. We don't even get the accurate story. We don't get there's no, besides from, the YouTube movement, the true crime movement and the field that we're in, the stuff that we're doing, but there's still the mainstream media, people just believe immediately what Nancy Grace says, what Ashley Banfield, what people say. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we lose the moment, James McClurg on there said he's been trying to tell people there's a better way. I'd love to hear it. And if you're brave enough to come on camera, I would love to give you the link. Robin, if you want to put the link on there and put it back there, sure. You're welcome to come up and give us a conversation topic on a better way. One of the things that I said in my video this morning, by the way, is that, this is not, I said it in the video, this is not, I do not believe in vigilante justice. However, one can argue that maybe the reason some people will take a gun to their hand and just gun somebody down is because the court systems have failed. Legislation has failed. Nobody helps anything. The only thing that people seem to understand is violence. So they just take it into their own hands because going to the court system is a joke. So in a way, it makes you wonder, have we created a system in which more people will take the court system into their own hands because they're not going to get justice in the court systems?
Well, you can't say that Charles Bronson isn't pretty badass in Death Wish.
Right.
If there's ever a vigilante.
The Punisher, yeah.
I mean, it's what it is, especially in certain areas.
Yeah.
Small towns. Like, I covered Bill Thompson the other day, the prosecutorial misconduct and things, so on and so forth. And I think Logan's looking into him now too as well. And like his background, guys, two cases that I found that he took to trial in 30 plus years. That's the biggest red flag of anything I've ever seen in my life. That'll tell you something's wrong. Okay. I mean, not to mention, in my opinion, this is something I've stated since the Idaho 4 case came about. And I just get stronger and stronger with it. You should not ever apply a plea bargain to a capital case, in my opinion. Ever. Never.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It just blows my mind. I don't see how that's okay. And again, when you have somebody like him, okay, that, in my opinion, attached the death penalty to this case on purpose, just so he could use it as a leverage tool, knowing what he was going to do the whole time, in my opinion, of course, bullshit. That's all I'm saying. So it's a horrible thing, and it's happening everywhere, more and more and more and more. So
yeah, and I think you said. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm interested to say. I don't know if I know Logan said she's putting a video out, or you didn't put it out yet, right? On Bill Thompson.
No, so I'm still editing.
Yeah, so I'm super interested in that, because what I would say, that things to the magnitude that I would say probably very high percentage that he's involved in, you'll probably see from early on in his career to, as time went on, he probably pushed the envelope more and more, what he was able to get away with and shady deals. And it's just really disgusting. And they do, favors to each other and back end deals. And it's just, something has to be changed. So.
I mean, it could be more than twice, but all we could find when we were looking into it was twice, guys. So if it is, so be it. But
and I want to rephrase. I want to rephrase something you said, because I think this is what you said. So correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm going to rephrase it in my own words. If we had a rule that said, if you're going to seek the death penalty against somebody, there's no plea deal option available. You will go to trial. Yeah. And that's the way it should be, because what they do is they use the threat of death to get a plea bargain. We're going to kill you. We're going to execute you. And believe me, we're going to get it, buddy. And that's how they get you to plea. So there should be a rule. If you want to go to kill somebody, then there's no plea deal. Yeah. You will go to court and you will prove your case.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And that's what I was trying to say. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, I don't believe a quadruple homicide. This is why I said this. Okay. 4 people were murdered. 4, not 1, 4. Okay. And you're putting a plea deal on a table for something like that. I just don't think that fits, in my opinion. That's not fair to, you should have to fully play this out through a trial, through the court system, all of that, and then deal with it in the end. That's my opinion.
And a bunch of stuff. A bunch of stuff needs to be, and also the grand jury process. So go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, get rid of the grand jury.
It's
grand jury
horrible.
is a joke.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly where I was going as well. I mean, as soon as I saw that pin, I was like, we all want to talk about grand jury system. The joke has always been in law. A grand jury will indict a ham sandwich.
Yes.
So the entire purpose of a grand jury is just to say, do you have enough to go to court and not waste the taxpayers' money? But the defense is not there. It's a one-sided presentation from the prosecution only. And if they're always going to make a good case from the prosecution, that's what they get paid to do, is make a good game. So a grand jury is almost always going to indict, because the defense never even gets to make a case. And then yet the public has this perception that, they've been indicted by a grand jury, they must be guilty. You can indict a fucking ham sandwich. It means nothing. The whole system is prejudicial and needs to be tossed. It means nothing.
And if you listen to any forensic experts and stuff, because these people have to testify all the time, right? For all these, or if it goes to their statements and stuff are used or to argue. If you look at any cases, any of these crimes, it's such a small percentage. I think that the last expert that we were reading about that had to do, with Idaho 4. I forget the name of the person, but they were saying that it's something like maybe only 25% of an actual crime scene gets processed, and that's actually getting processed. That's not 25% that goes to court. So think about that. Out of that 25%, such a small percentage of even that, a jury will even get to hear. So they don't even get even close to the actual evidence that.
Yeah, those were words from Dr. Turvey, who is the forensic.
Yes, that's it, Turvey.
Yeah, forensic specialist. And he said, like, I've been doing this for like 30 years. And I'll tell you, the reality is you'd be lucky if 25%, just like you said, you'd be lucky if they process 25%. And what goes to court is more like 3% of that 2% of that 25%. It's and like he said, the jury, even when it does go to a jury, the jury doesn't see the facts in the case. They see a very, very small amount of the facts in the case. So
can you guys imagine what would have happened if there would have been a preliminary hearing?
Yeah.
Do you imagine the options that would have been out there that wasn't there with this?
Yeah,
it could have changed the entire situation.
A proper Frank's hearing would have stopped.
A Frank's hearing, right? Frank's hearing, but when you have a judge that's a third arm or third voice of the state, it's a problem.
What do you think, Robin and Logan?
Yeah, I mean, he had no business saying half the shit that he was litigating their case for them. They might as well not have even been in the freaking courtroom.
Yeah,
Hitler was doing all the heavy lifting for them.
Yeah, I agree.
Logan?
I think that there's a huge pattern with Bill Thompson and Bill Thompson with the judges that he works with. I should say.
Yeah.
He has Bill Thompson has patterns, and it's really sick. So he will overcharge and overcharge and overcharge, and then he'll do whatever he can to get eyewitnesses to tell their story against whoever they're charging when there's no evidence against them. So really the only evidence he has against the people that he takes to trial is an eyewitness or somebody he's coerced, because what he does is he says, if you don't testify against this man or whoever and say he did it, I'm charging you as well. So
like Molly McMichaels, maybe?
Absolutely.
His buddy.
Makes sense.
I'll scream it from the mountaintops. Molly McMichaels never fucking saw Brian Koberger there at the house that night. That was horseshit. And they were gonna use her that way until their cover got blown. She never saw him there, but they were gonna try to pull that shit off if people hadn't found out.
What I'd like to know is who changed her mind. Honestly, truly, when she changed her story, I'd really like to know who helped her to change her mind and why that happened.
Lizzie Turtleballs is going to lose her mind over in Iowa. Is it worse in Iowa? Because it can't be much worse. Like,
well, we saw what their fraternities are like in Iowa. At least we know that.
Yeah.
It's a damn shame.
Scary. The fraternities are scary. I've seen some videos from fraternities, and fraternities have much more control. They're more controlled by their den father or whoever's running the house than the police. When the police come, if their den leader has told them not to speak, they won't fucking talk to the police. They just won't.
Right.
Because they're under higher authority, which is their fraternity brothers. So
the story.
They don't have to talk to dick.
The other story that
go ahead, Dago.
I'm just gonna say you weren't here last night, you or Logan. So I just real quick, and anybody else wasn't. The other story I'm covering that is again in Moscow, with a fraternity, the same fraternity that Sam ended up dying from. Okay, Austin Dawson was beat down to the point that he died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, laid in a coma. And thank God, again, he made it out of that. And there's nothing. There's no charges filed anywhere. The police said they investigated it. MPD, God love them, right? Handed it off to the prosecutor's office, and they said they don't have nothing. There's no charges filed on this, okay? All they did was they kicked the guy out of the fraternity. Nobody stepped up to pay the Austin's medical bills. They never said, I'm sorry. They didn't do shit, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing an interview with his father now, and I'm going to tell the story because it's bullshit, folks. It's all. It all has to stop.
Yeah. And AR penalties repeating the same thing we say. Grand juries will indict a ham sandwich. They fucking never not indict. They always indict because they only see one side of the argument. They only see the prosecution's best case with nobody arguing it otherwise. So of course they'll be like, "Oh, that sounds pretty good." They're always going to make it sound good.
Yeah, there should be much stronger penalties when there's some kind of crime related to fraternity, sorority. Unfortunately, as we right at JJ's deep analysis there, talking about Skull and Bones and all these Illuminati and all these other groups that are deep rooted, high in power, and everything that involves what happens to us and government and everything else. It's really sickening. And Dago, you said it a bunch of times, and I couldn't agree with you more wholeheartedly. I'm not against someone being part of a group. Okay. That there's it. I don't think that fraternities and sororities, because I've seen that, I don't think they should be illegal, but it should be about working together for service to the community, work for good. Like, I understand these, I went to college. It shouldn't be about it. What can we get away with? And they learn early on, you get these 18-year-olds, predominantly 18-year-olds, right? That start, or 17, 18, young adolescents. Males do not mature at 18. They do not. And so is it a problem, like, going to parties and drinking and whatever? No, people are going to be, there's a time when everyone is young, but there has to be a higher accountability for these actions. And that's how I think you stop some of it, is you have to have harsher penalty, deeper penalty. I know what if a fraternity is found guilty of like certain drug stuff and whatever, right? They lose their charter and everything. But the violence and the hazing, I mean, most states, I know New York, we have hazing laws and stuff, but we have the laws, but the stuff still goes on. There has to be something has to change. And
Sam Martinez.
I have 5 comments ago. I wanted to comment on something, and we just keep getting. I mean, our mods are pinning comments left and right, and I had a comment 5 comments ago. I wanted to comment, and now we got and like, let's deal with this real quick, and I'll go back to that comment. How is the secret grand jury even legal? Shouldn't the defense be allowed to present when a secret hearing is behind? No, so that's right. What you're saying is exactly that the bitch is. A grand jury is convened in secret and in private, and it's the prosecution only. It's a pointless exercise, and it leads people to think that the person must be guilty because they've been indicted by a grand jury. Really, all the indictment is you have enough that you should go to trial and let the jury see. That's all it really is saying, but it makes people think a certain way, like, oh, it must be a really good case. It doesn't have to be a good case. It could be a shit case.
Yeah.
And they'll still say, yeah,
because
go ahead.
There's no defense. There's no defense
unless you're lucky enough to be John Benet Ramsey's parents and are friends with the
But I wanted to go back real quick before I
prosecutor.
forget, because I've been holding this thought in my head for 5 comments. Do I think that YouTubers were partly responsible for Molly McMichael's taking her I saw Brian Koberger there that night and I have to testify about it? Yeah, I do think the YouTube community fucked that up for the prosecution. She was literally going to testify. That was, in my opinion, this is 100% opinion, Bill Thompson's ace in the sleeve when he couldn't. God damn it. Bill Thompson said, I can't put Brian Koberger in the house. So he brought fucking Molly McMichaels to the thing, who was a friend of his because he'd helped her out before. He brought her in at the last minute to testify and put her on the stand and say, I saw Brian Koberger there, because they needed to put him there. And then that got fucking thrown to shit because her body cameras came out where she's like, oh, I'm a friend of Bill Thompson's, and apparently now I got to testify. I saw him there, I guess. fucking everybody went bullshit, and he had to pull back. But that's what he was going to do. That's
And a
what he was gonna do.
YouTuber who put that out there to begin with, that came from it. Nobody knew about that until that specific YouTuber, I'm not gonna say the name, put it out to the world, which, holy shit. Okay, so
he would have pulled it off if people weren't paying attention. He would have pulled that off. He would have brought in an eyewitness to say, "Oh yeah, I saw Brian Kober there. I sat right next to him before he went." He would have pulled it off, people.
Yes.
He would have pulled that off.
Yeah.
If people
And that's
had
why
an
what we're
experience.
doing is important. That's why what we're doing is important, because we can bring light to some of this shit and actually affect change. So,
Whew, I got all excited there for a minute.
Yeah. The first way to fix is awareness of the fuckery.
You asked that question, didn't you, Logan?
Yeah, because then right after that was when the prosecution went to the defense asking for a plea.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And understand that's how that happened to you guys. No.
Because their case got fucked right there. That was their ace in the hole.
Bingo.
They tried everything they could do, not providing evidence, giving the defense 5-second clips of video with no audio. You know, they were drawing it out so she couldn't get the evidence she needed to defend her client. When that didn't work, then there was a leak. When that didn't work, then the Molly stuff came out. When that didn't, like, all this stuff, and then boom, it was a plea offer.
Exactly. Just like you said it. Yes.
Yeah.
The damn shame.
It should be disgusting. It should be disgusting. We should be shouting it from but a lot of people, we are kind of shouting it from the rooftops. And yet so many people tell us, shut the fuck up. He pled guilty, you dumbass.
Yeah.
He did it. And like, I get treated like I'm the asshole for being like, you realize they railroaded that asshole, that guy. They railroaded him. He had no chance at a trial. No chance.
It seems like now, I mean, we will see what happens, but all roads look like Ann Taylor was really using it as a strategy point. It was that plea bargain, really gave her, a decent amount of extra time to review a lot of this. So there's so much stuff here. We could easily name 10 things immediately, and just one or two of them, I don't, wouldn't have to be argued very, very, very diligently to get people to agree to a post-conviction relief.
One of
just Ray is just one. It's just there's just one or two things. It will be interesting to see.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
And then it's not gonna end again, because now what? So if he does file for this post-conviction relief eventually, and then that goes through the whole process, and then what? Then the stupid Lifetime movie is gonna come out, right? And it's gonna show Koberger as this crazy incel stalking the girls and going and hates women and all that, and that's gonna be going. It's gonna be a problem again, and then that's gonna come out right as he may have to go to trial again. So
right. Thank you to Dawn Caps. I'm not sure whose that is.
It's mine. Yes. Thank you, Dawn Caps. I appreciate you so much.
So, by the way, I want to clarify something, because I looked up real quick because we're talking about grand juries and the whole secret grand jury thing, right? And so I asked our friend AI, has there been any movement to try and abolish the grand jury process? And here's what it told me. Yes, there have been several movements to abolish the grand jury process. The problem is it's written into the United States Constitution that that a grand jury must indict, and therefore it would require a constitutional amendment to fix. That's why it doesn't get fixed, because it's part of the United States Constitution, and people don't tend to revise the Constitution. Right. So that indictment process, which I think is fundamentally broken at this point, is going to be really hard to remove.
Yeah. Another thing they need to work on is how probable cause affidavits are dealt with, and not just you can put out all kinds of shit that's not true and still get a warrant, search warrant and stuff like that.
Foxy Rose, a question that I still feel Cy Ray could put Brian at 1122. And when did he stop wanting to do things right? I don't know that was ever Cy Ray's position that Brian Koberger was there. In fact, I heard on the download,
Never.
Cy Ray specifically said Brian
Not
Koberger
at all.
in Moscow.
The
Not
exact
at all.
opposite of that.
And without even having Cy Ray without his words, because we don't have them yet, except for Twizzle. We know that the timestamps that they have specifically labeled in the probable cause affidavit that basically place a white Elantra, suspect vehicle 1, at certain locations at certain times, saying that this is Brian Koberger's car. This is where he was. We know now it's all bullshit. It's not his car. And how do we know? Because it's not a theory. This isn't when we say this stuff, it's not a theory anymore. It's already been debunked. Okay. BK does not have fog lamps on his car. The car because now the case is over and we've been able to FOIA and get some of the videos from some of these locations. When we see a car that has fog lamps, and sorry, Dago, I know you love the clip-on fog.
clip on.
I can't believe the stupidity of some people. That's all.
I want to address at least how I understand. I don't know if Twiz is in here tonight because Twiz seems to know this probably better than anybody. But from what I understand about the Cy Ray situation, I will admit I originally never thought Cy Ray was going to say Brian Koberger wasn't at the house. What he was going to say was, what you're saying about Brian Koberger is impossible without you having timing advance records. And so you're lying when you say you don't have the timing advance records, because I know how you got those records and I know you have to have them. And in fact, I can prove you have them. And Hitler basically called that a conspiracy theorist and didn't want to hear what you have to say. So where I'm going with that is I'm not sure. I was never sure what Cy Ray was going to say, other than he's saying, you guys are lying about the timing advance records. So he's not necessarily saying he was or he wasn't there. Now, again, later on, I heard somebody say Cy Ray behind closed doors has actually said Brian Koberger wasn't even in Moscow that night.
Yes.
I can prove it.
Yeah,
right. You're right.
That's what he said.
No, you're right. They twisting his words and twisting the facts the same way, Lee, as we spoke many times about this, and not to go into a whole long thing, but his cell phone turning off. If you just read real carefully, read the paragraph where they talk about the FBI expert saying how what it says is, in these type of situations, someone would turn their phone off. But if you read it carefully, it doesn't say that they're saying that BK turned his phone off. They're just saying it's likely.
My fucking head's gonna explode.
They even asked Bill that, and he re-explained it, and people still think, and it's believed. Going back a little bit, it's believed that, and there's no way to verify this at this point, but it will be at some point, I believe. The word was, it's believed that Brian Koberger was more than likely in Lewiston when all this went down in Moscow. So you can't murder somebody's four people in one place if you're in another complete different area. So come on.
I want to talk a minute about again the reading comprehension and listening comprehension. They purposely said things that would mislead the public. So just like you said, and I want to cover this because this is important. They said
it is
Brian Koberger's cell phone lost connection with the tower at such and such a time. And in my experience in law enforcement, when people go to commit crimes, they tend to turn off their phones before going to commit a crime. He did not say Brian Koberger turned off his phone. He said it lost service, but in his opinion, people often turn their phone off. And then the media jumped all over it. Brian Koberger turned his phone off before going there. He didn't fucking say that. He literally said we lost his service. And by the way, I drove there my self. When you go towards Wallaway Park and leave Pullman, you lose service.
Right.
That's what happens. He literally said he lost service. And in my opinion, criminals often turn their phone off before they go to a crime.
And I was screaming from the rafters at this for a long time. And I kept telling everyone, it's not a big deal about the fact of them saying, oh, he turned his phone off. The bigger deal is looking at the pattern of behavior. BK apparently likes to go driving and he likes to go stargazing. Does his phone fishing. does his phone lose service?
Yeah.
If we saw the results of BK's phone for 6 months, would we see more days, more other times of his phone supposedly being turned off?
What they did, you
literally
guys,
works-
is called fit. Sorry, Logan. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
He
Logan.
literally works in cloud, or that was his
Cloud-based forensics. Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Right.
cloud forensics. You think
Like he
would
doesn't
just
know?
bring his
Yeah.
phone with him? Stop.
Right. Right.
And like I
That's
said,
my point, Logan. It's the dumbest thing to say. Oh, he's so big. He knew how to get away from the crime, but he doesn't know not to take his own fucking car and his own cell phone to the murder. Come on. Like, oh my God.
What they did was called fishing, folks. They take and they throw out whatever they can and it see whatever's going to catch. Okay. Whatever they hook, they reel it in, they throw it out to somebody else. They just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And they know it's going to work. Okay, let's say this and see if they catch on to, oh shit, they grabbed it and ran with it. Next piece. They keep doing it again and again.
And how crazy it will be if we actually eventually find a connection to BK and Kopaka and find out that neither one of them were involved in anything, and Kopaka was actually maybe stargazing with BK. that they had nothing to do with anything.
I want to talk about this comment real quick. That's very true as far as your cell phone. But what a lot of people don't realize is also, depending on the car model you have, they can still track your car computer and its location. So anymore, even leaving your phone at home does not guarantee that you're not going to be able to be traced, because there's all the GPS that's included in a lot of cars now and things like that. And the Murdaugh trial, I believe, they brought that out, that it wasn't just the phone, that they're tracking cars now.
They did.
So it's
that was a big
phone.
deal. Yeah.
So, and they can do it to a point that, you drive 10 feet and they know that you drove your car 10 freaking feet. So keep that in mind, people, when you're buying a car.
I just watched that again, Robin.
Just as well as a cell phone now.
I just watched that Murdaugh thing again, that little documentary thing they put out, which is really good, guys, if you go check it out. But I was looking at that to see because I followed the Karen one, the Murdaugh one, the Delphi one, to see what parallels have showed up within the Idaho 4 case and all these other cases. And I swear to God, there's little ones all through every one of these cases, guys. It's all the same shit. Crazy.
And I want to do this. I want to do this.
Okay.
You should do it then.
I'm gonna do it, Diego. I'm gonna do it. So when I first heard the defense, Brian Kohberger say he was out stargazing, even I said, oh, that sounds like it's going to be a stretch. It's not a fucking stretch. It's not a stretch. He had a history of stargazing, and there was a meteor shower that night. And by the way, I want to show it on screen for the people who haven't seen this before. I'm going to show this. You can verify this. Do a Google search. Was there a meteor seen over Boise, Idaho? 33 people witnessed the meteor going over Boise, Idaho. And by the way, a local who lives there says you can see meteors even on a cloudy night from a Wallway Park. That's where Brian Kohberger said he was going at the exact fucking time of the
They announced it. They announced it at WSU too, folks, and gave people the option. Go check it out.
I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you now. This is a timestamp from that night at approximately like 4 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, when this was captured on a home security camera in Boise, Idaho. See that shit?
Oh, is that BK's car in the back?
No. That was seen by tons of people. There was a meteor shower people knew about that night. So this idea, oh, what a joke. The guy's out there saying he's going. Yeah, he had a habit of stargazing, and there was a celestial event that night that people knew about and was witnessed on multiple. By the way, that's just one camera. All kinds of cameras caught the meteor going over Boise, Idaho, right during the murder window. So it's not
exactly. And it's not illegal to go driving at night. There are plenty of people who like to, go around.
To do it all the time because I couldn't sleep. All the time.
Put on music. Right. They listen to music. They do whatever. It's not unusual.
Everything that was brought to the table. Everything. Every bit of information, I just said this the other day, that was brought to the table that said that they used to say Brian was guilty on this has been walked back, guys. everything, including the DNA. Okay. So you step back and look at the case now and you tell me why that man's sitting there. Tell me what they have him in prison for, because they have nothing. There's nothing there. Every little bit of it, they used it all to get him to the point that they needed to get the plea deal, to get him in prison. And then they stepped back and said, nope. Because right after the fucking sentencing hearing, they said, did this happen? No, that didn't happen. No, this doesn't happen. No, this did happen. No, none of it. It's all gone. But he's still sitting there.
Yeah.
By the way, just to let you know, I don't know if you can see this very well. Remember, this is that video I showed you with that meteor flash over Boise. I'm going to show it to you one more time real quick. I want to show you one more thing real quick, if I can find the fucking play button. So you see the meteor over the sky there that goes by?
Yeah.
Back it up. Okay, see that big flash, right? That was seen by at least 33 people on home cameras. In the corner, I don't know if you can see it very well. The time is 4:36 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is about 3:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, which is so. I'm telling you, it's right in the fucking sweet spot of when Brian Koberger left his house around 2-something in the morning to go out to watch the meteor at 3-something in the morning, as everyone saw in fucking Boise at that time. Oh, that's such a reach. It's just ridiculous. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. But anyway.
Exactly.
What's ridiculous is the people that refuse to believe that this is a plausible thing. That's what's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You so desperately want it to be true that you're willing to suspend. That's where I feel like people will so desperately want to have a closure to this case because 4 people were murdered that they will suspend disbelief that one person can kill 4 people on 2 floors in about 8 minutes, that every alibi that he has, like he was, going to go stargazing and all these things, like it's consistent with his behavior. Suspend all of that because we so desperately want to close this case. And this feels like that probably happened.
I pinned this sausage. So what I would just say to this, we can't make like blind accusations, but what I will say, Dago covered today and it was really good. I guess he was reviewing basically the Dylan interview with Vicky Gooch, however you say her name, and I guess Lana was it was Lana covering it as well, and then he was pausing it, and we were talking about different parts. And I tell you, every time we watch that, like there is more stuff that I don't know. I don't know what I watch. I thought I was watching like a brand new release. We were talking about it and I couldn't believe just like a simple question. About keeping a door open. Dylan will say, the door was open. I went upstairs, but you know what? I don't really remember if the door was open. Ethan he would forget to lock it. So normally I would lock the door, but all of her answers, she answered with every possible answer that I said this today.
Right.
They would ask a question and she can never just give a fucking yes, no answer to anything. It has to be, well, I took a walk through the woods and I looked down and I saw leaves on the ground. I picked up a few sticks and then I heard Bethany call me in the background. So I'm like, I was like 20 minutes later, they asked her who called 911. There's a perfect example. Okay. Dylan, who called 911?
Well,
8 minutes it took her to answer this question, you guys. 8 fucking minutes to answer that one simple question. And she told us about everything else that happened besides that. And then she said, Bethany used her phone.
Yeah, I think Dago, I think you mentioned it. I don't know, maybe maybe we could have Amanda does so much work, or one of us, I guess, could try to put together maybe some kind of document or something, put it on the website, all the inconsistencies, all the actual like different contradictions that Dylan has said. Right? Like one of the big ones was she said she went upstairs, right, to talk about food with Kaylee and whatever, and then in this interview with Vicky Gooch, she says she didn't go upstairs. So what is it? Did you go upstairs or did you not? You can't do both.
Yes,
it's one or the other.
What she actually said was they said something, or she said she didn't go upstairs, and then they said
they got forward to another question. It goes, well, I came home and I went upstairs, or I went and took Murphy outside. You had to go upstairs to take Murphy outside.
Right.
So she contradicted herself through everything she said, guys. It was insane.
And look,
Absolutely insane.
Here's the thing too. By the way, you should probably dismiss this comment. It's been in for a long time. But here's another thing too. Like how do I explain this? I'm going to even make an excuse for this. The prosecution will take somebody like a Dylan who throws spaghetti at the wall and says, well, maybe the door was open, maybe it was closed, maybe I was awake, maybe I was asleep, maybe I was drunk, maybe I was dreaming, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. And what they do is they pick the one of all of those things she just said that is best for the case. And they say, Dylan said that she saw the person and she was wide awake. She may have said 27 times, I'm not sure, maybe I was dreaming, maybe I imagined the whole thing. But if she said one time, that's what's going to make it in the paperwork. Now, what they will argue, the prosecution will argue, is it's not our job to do the defense's job. The defense should look through the paperwork. And if they want to cite that she said 3 times that she doesn't remember, then that's their job. But we're not going to fucking point it out to her. We're going to say, Dylan said she saw the guy there. And we're not going to do their job for them. So they would argue that that's part of the discovery process, that Ann Taylor needs to find that maybe Dylan said 3 times, I don't remember it, maybe I was dreaming it, maybe it didn't really happen. And if she wants to bring that up, she can, but they're not going to fucking point it out to her. They're just going to be like, hey, Dylan said she saw the guy, and he'll push you out.
And Diego, what was that other thing? There was a question she was asked, right? And it's interesting when she's asked like certain questions, she's very, very she's very specific with detail. Like so she's obviously she wasn't drunk and she remembers exactly. But as soon as you get to anything about the area of when Ethan and Xana came home or anything, all of a sudden, it's a gray area. I don't know. I was watching Vampire Diaries, and
what he's saying is like she would severely, and I mean severely over explain simple questions.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, just horribly. But then when you started asking the hard questions, she would stutter around all over the place and completely avoid the question and give you so many other things to think about. I don't know if it was a thing she's doing to thinking that they're going to forget what the fuck they asked her, or if it was just like,
right.
It was very weird how she did that through everything.
Yeah.
And then she was saying
the Eric one, right? The Eric one, right? Where they asked her, did Eric, how do you say his last name? Gower. They were like, okay, so you texted Eric Gower about, was he driving or whatever? I guess she was interested. She wanted to get food. Was he out there? So she said yes. And then I guess the follow-up, the question was, well, did he ever come to the house? And,
yeah.
And then she does exactly what Diego said. She starts going off on a tangent. Well, I picked up 4 sticks and then I went to the bathroom and answer the goddamn question.
Did he ever show up at the house? She was like, well,
you sounded like me. Answer the goddamn question.
I'm not really sure, but I know I went downstairs and I talked to such and such. And then I did this. And I was like, what? Just answer the question. Yes or no. You know what I mean? It's so frustrating.
And that's how I would have put it to her if I had been interrogating her. I'd have been just like, look, answer the freaking question now. I mean,
well, she kept referring back to
they were coddling her. That's the thing.
They're very badly, but they did say, she said multiple times, I don't know any of this. This is what I think I know.
Yeah.
And at the end, Gooch said, so you're telling me that you believe you think these things, but you're not sure. And she would say something dumb like, well, I don't really know if this is what really happened or if it's just my brain telling me this because
right.
Repeatedly, she said that kind of shit. And I'm going,
or maybe it's this piece of paper you have that's telling me that.
Yeah. Or whatever you have in your phone that you keep referring to. Like, it's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that in my life, you guys. Never. It is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I thought we were watching a Saturday Night Live skit. Yeah.
I feel like I need to. I want to mention something a little bit lengthy about the Framed book again from John Grisham. So I want to make sure that Robin and Logan have a chance to say something before I dive into another topic on this. It's related to law enforcement forcing the answer that they want to get out of the interrogations. But do you guys have anything you want to say that so far on what we're talking about?
Well, first off, Foxy said I called her stupid. I didn't call anybody stupid.
No. Yeah.
Never did I say that. I would never do that, but I sure didn't say that.
Yeah. No. I didn't
Never.
hear anybody say
No.
anything like that. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Maybe
I've never done
somebody
that.
felt that was implied, but I don't even know who to get
No,
involved.
yeah. No,
No,
one
I
told
wouldn't. I
anyone
wouldn't do
stupid.
that. Never would I do that. So not
ahead,
even
Logan, go ahead.
imply
We
that.
know
I'm sorry.
Foxy's not stupid. No.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if you felt that way, but I would never even imply that. So
Go ahead.
Oh, God.
Go ahead, Logan. I see
I
you
feel
stop.
crazy, honestly.
I showed earlier on my live, and I'm not sure if everybody's seen it or not. I just thought it was strange that at Hudson Lindau's memorial, there's a knife shoved into the
Yes.
grass with a sheath
Yes.
next to it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Say that
saw
again?
I've seen that.
It's so strange.
What is it
Yeah.
again?
At Hudson
There's-
Lindau's memorial site, somebody had stabbed a knife and a knife sheath, left it at Hudson Lindau's gravesite or her memorial site,
Whoa.
and there was a picture of it that was put out online.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
what the
wow,
fuck
I
is
never
that?
saw that. Wow.
Yeah.
My other thing is, so Dylan sees somebody in her house, and she claims she's so scared that she jumps up and locks her door. So you see a masked intruder in your house, and you don't let your roommates know at all?
Right?
Yeah.
Or call
Because that was
911
before. That was
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
she called Bethany or talked to Bethany. So for the first 10 minutes, you lock yourself in your room and you don't alert your roommates to let them know there's somebody in the home.
And also along with that, let's
we should
like
address this too.
let's real quick.
Yeah.
Just remember, she says she hears Kaylee go up the stairs with Murphy, but it's not Kaylee. She tries to message right away. She messages Xana.
Right.
Why
Right.
wouldn't whether she's your good friend or not? Like you live with her in the house, and you think you hear Kaylee crying, and she's the one that needs help. Why are you calling Xana? Why are you messaging Xana?
Yeah.
Doesn't
Well, she
make
knew it.
sense.
Don't forget, she knew it was
Yeah.
Kaylee because of the number of stomps too.
Yes.
to the top.
Yeah.
She had Doc Martens on her feet, which
Right.
no, she didn't.
Didn't know she did, and she had tennis shoes on, if anything at all. So yeah.
And those tennis shoes I found were put away in her closet. So she didn't have any
She had
shoes.
nothing on. She was barefoot or socked. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
And therefore,
Thank you
in
for
turn,
the
if you're
gift.
wearing,
She-
go ahead, Robin. I'm sorry.
Thank you for the gift. She's just a devil woman. She says, DM, he had a cylinder thing like a mini vacuum. How was he holding it? I have no clue. How do you see that but not know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be
That's just-
careful of those dangerous Hoovers.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say.
So I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Did I make it to Kentucky safely? Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, I did. We started the show with that. I got there safely. I went to the trial. The trial lasted for about 5 minutes, and then ended in a settlement, and everybody went home. And that was my trip to Kentucky.
So Lee, I wanted to ask you since I've never been to Kentucky. Is there a specific like food or something like they're known for, like where you were?
Well, I mean, they're known for bourbon, Kentucky bourbon. But that's not really a food. I don't know what their food is. Indiana, I think, is where they had the tenderloin, which was pork tenderloins that they would pound out the size of a plate. That was their special. I don't know what food is special in Kentucky. Kentucky Fried Chicken, I hear. I wanted to share a story because when I was on the road in Kentucky, this is where I was going to side tangent a hair. When I was on the road in Kentucky, I got to listen more to my audiobook Framed by John Grisham. And I hope I get this story right, but there was one that just absolutely drove me bonkers. And it kind of relates to Idaho 4 in the sense that when you go canvassing, you don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. And in fact, you can lead the investigation by asking questions that you want people to get into the public consciousness. For example, in the book Framed, a guy's wife was murdered. He was not there. He was somewhere else at the time. And he was not on the radar or suspicious at all. And he came into town. He was out of town, came into town and went with a buddy to go look and try to find evidence themselves of who killed the wife and whatever. When they were driving around in a car that he had borrowed from his brother or something like that, I believe it was, he opened up the trunk of the car because they had to take a leak, and they opened up the trunk and there was a flashlight in there, and they realized that the flashlight looked like it had blood on the flashlight. And so they immediately went to the police and said, holy shit, like we're borrowing this car and there's a flashlight in here. The cops decided based on that he was the killer. And even though he brought it to them, they decided he was the killer. But the problem was they couldn't find any problem with their marriage. So they said, well, the fact that he wasn't with his wife that night must have meant that they were having marital problems, and then decided that it must be because he was secretly gay. And literally, and so then what they did is they started interviewing people, and they would ask people, were you aware that he had a gay lover? And there was no evidence of it, none. But they told it to enough people and asked enough people that it started to go to the rumor mill. People were like, was he gay? And so he got kicked out of his church because they said that he might have been gay. And it was all planted by the cops saying, well, did you know that he had a gay lover? There was no evidence of it. They literally put that into the public knowledge. And then he got kicked out of his church for being gay. And they literally made that shit up. And then convicted him because he must have had a gay lover and wanted to kill his wife because, of course, if you're gay, you must be also a murderer. And that's how it went in that case. So crazy.
That is crazy. Absolutely. Susie Littleby, hey, panel mods, didn't they put a hold on Dylan's GoFundMe? I don't know if they did or not. Does anybody else know?
Yeah, they did.
I believe they did. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I don't know if they've lifted it. That was a long time ago when we got the notice that they had put a hold on our GoFundMe. Have they lifted it yet? Or?
It's still frozen.
Okay.
What was it at? Wasn't it like 300,000? Go ahead.
No, I think it was just over one.
No, I think she had. I think it was like one. I think it was like 120 that she
180, 183. I think.
Oh,
One.
Go ahead.
Last time we looked,
Crazy.
I think it was last time we looked.
I just put in chat just to remind people that as of 2024, over 350 people were receiving benefits in Moscow because they were previously sex trafficked. And of those 350 people that came forward, first of all, think of how many people haven't come forward. That's just the people that did come forward. They're receiving benefits. So how many people you think were charged with that trafficking?
Right.
Zero.
Good question.
Yeah. And there does seem to be a big trafficking there.
It's at 115.
Yeah.
So Dylan's, it's at 115.
Yeah, her initial goal was 90,000. She raised $115,000 before they paused it. Yeah.
Where did I get 183 at? I must have seen. Oh, the Gonzalez. That's what that was. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! And the fuckery continues. So,
yes.
Yep.
Any other cases? We got about
0 charge.
So is there any other cases we want to talk about? Any Guthrie update? Any Luigi update? Any Mickey Stein's update? Well, we already kind of covered Mickey Stein's. Anything else?
Don't we have until like the 30th of March for the Delphi appeal for the state to respond?
Good point. I was waiting for the response. I know that they filed the appeal, and I never have heard anything from the appellate courts. Let's see if I can dig that up while you guys keep talking.
Really, 0 charge. That's insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nobody charged. Well, no, I think there was a charge, but it was before like 2018. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's just
crazy,
disgusting to me.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't understand how you have that many victims in that area and nobody charged.
Exactly.
Well, my thing is to receive some sort of state or local benefit, you have to prove that happened to you, right? Or else everybody would just say, oh, I was too, give me whatever benefits. No, you have to prove it. So they know their stories. They know what happened. They know who the people are. They know, and they haven't charged anybody.
And that's just wrong on so many levels.
It's a travesty.
Who's got the music playing in the background?
Yeah.
I hear Christmas music. I'll give you one guess.
So, according to what I read about the Richard Allen appeal, a response is due within 30 days. They filed it in December of 2025, which means the response was due by the end of January, and we still don't have a response. So they're supposed to respond within 30 days, the appellate court. And as far as I know, there hasn't been. They said if there's an extension granted, then it can go longer. And maybe the extension was granted in private, because in our country we fucking do everything in private and in secret. Nobody gets to fucking know what's happening anymore in this country. So who knows? But whatever the case may be, they're long past the deadline. So I'm trying to look up to see if they ever granted an extension on the record or whether it's just a big secret. Oh, here we go. The defense's brief was filed December of 2025. The state appellate's brief originally was due January 2026. An extension was granted on February 23rd. So by the way, a month late, they granted an extension for the fucking deadline they missed in January, if I read that correct. And so now the new deadline for the state to respond to the appeal is March 30th. So they didn't explain why January came and went when they had 30 days and waited until February was almost over to ask for an extension, but they got an extension a month late. And so the new date is March 30th.
But Ann Taylor can't get 1 day extension after there was a leak and she wasn't given all of the evidence. Like what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did anybody pay attention to the Hunter thing that they talked about? What was it, yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
The Supreme Court and the Hunter case about the plea waivers.
Right.
Does anybody know what happened?
I don't know what that one.
I didn't get to see the end of it.
I'll plead I was on fucking flights from Kentucky to Seattle at the time that was happening, probably.
What the hell was? Where is she in here? She covered it yesterday. I didn't get to see the end of her show though to see what the outcome was.
Kathy was covering it, right?
Kathy covers it too. Yeah.
Is this an entirely different case or related to one of the cases?
Yeah, this is about this.
There hasn't been a decision yet, most likely.
Yeah, this is about the argument about the plea bargain stuff going to the Supreme Court.
Whether it's constitutional or not, right?
Yes.
The Supreme Court whether a plea bargain's in its entirety even constitutional. Yeah.
They won't make a decision same day, which is true. I am curious to see what that turns out like.
His name was Hunter, yeah. Yeah, that's a potentially monumental case if they rule that the whole plea deal system is really unconstitutional. You should not be able to waive your constitutional rights. There's a reason why they're constitutional rights. You shouldn't be allowed to waive your constitutional rights.
Yep.
And that's what they're asking people to do. Hey, by the way, you're going to plead guilty and you're going to sign away all your rights that you have under the Constitution to appeal or Nope. You just sign away all your constitutional rights.
Yeah.
We're in a slippery slope in America in the way that we're doing law. It's getting harder and harder for anybody to defend themselves. And by the way, I'm not calling for a revolution, but those are the kind of things that lead to revolution, right? The citizens revolt when a system gets out of control and they feel like they're oppressed by their leaders. So if their leaders create a system where I can throw anybody in jail at any time I want to, and I can put you away for life, and I can take your wife and take your kids and do whatever I want, people tend to get upset and they fucking revolt and start another country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is Jeff J6B? What is he referring to?
A pinned comment,
Jeff?
No, it's I want the panel to give their takes on what stuff Lyndon and two girls brought to the house. I didn't even know
this one.
Yeah.
Give their takes on what stuff Lyndon.
I'm familiar with what he means.
So in Lyndon Beck's interview, we went over it again today because with the spreading of misinformation.
Yeah.
In Lyndon's interview, he says when Emily got the call from Dylan at 11:50 to come over, Lyndon and Josie were at Emily's with Hunter and Emily. So they all grabbed their stuff and went over to 1122. That's what Lyndon says. We got the call, we grabbed our stuff and went over there. I don't know if he means
what shirt or jacket.
Right. Shirts, jackets, shoes, or
purses,
something else.
Right.
Or what? I don't know what he means. That's all he said. And of course, law enforcement didn't push him for more detail.
It probably meant
like cleaning up
purses
supplies
and
like bleach and rags and.
Yeah.
I'm guessing like purses and jackets or whatever the hell you would need.
But the thing is, they weren't none of them were wearing that or had that. Didn't have purses. They didn't have jackets. Remember, they had to bring them blankets. So I don't know what stuff.
And that's true too.
she's
That's
talking
true
about.
too.
Yeah. I don't know what stuff that would be.
She's just a devil woman. Thank you so much. She says FBI does not go by constitutional rights. BK had to leave to get arrested by the FBI where his rights were violated. Look it up. It's facts.
I believe what she's saying is he had to leave the state of Washington in order for them to pick him up. Yeah. Let's see if we can look that up real quick. But who made the arrest? It wasn't the FBI. Who made that? It was Pennsylvania in coordination with Moscow, Idaho police that picked him up. But
I think the FBI was there though.
The FBI tailed him outside of Washington and in supposedly a plane following him across the country. But
see, I misunderstood then because my understanding, I was told that the FBI along with Pennsylvania State Police went in on the whatever you call it, a raid. But maybe that's wrong then. You learn something new every day. Yeah.
The reason why I'm questioning the wording is one, the FBI stayed out of this, right? The FBI didn't make the arrest, from what I understand, right? So they advised the entire way. They were co-located with Moscow Police Department, but FBI never made an arrest. They did bring an expert in for identifying the suspect vehicle. They brought an expert in for identifying Brian Koberger's cell phone movements and stuff like that. But they stayed out of the law enforcement activities and basically told Moscow, go do some police work and arrest this guy. Here's the guy you should go arrest.
Letcher County.
It was the Pennsylvania State Police, specifically Troop N, and their special emergency response team, their CERT team, carried out the arrest.
Gotcha.
Who carried out the arrest?
Pennsylvania State Police.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought. Pennsylvania State Police in conjunction with Moscow, Idaho, or MPD. So
Twiz just said it was a Letcher County warrant.
PA would lead it. Yeah.
The Letcher County. Okay.
I didn't know that. Like I said, you learn something new every day. I like learning.
Yeah, and this case and so many others, there's so much to, and sometimes I have to remind myself of some of the information. There's so much. It's hard to contain it all in your brain.
Absolutely, and see that's I'm gonna have to correct that then because I made an argument about the raid that they did to arrest him, that they were claiming they had no body cameras. And I said, well, if the FBI's there, I guarantee you they were wearing them. They're not going to go in there like that without them. So if they weren't there, then there you go.
So
and Pennsylvania State Police won't release the body cam at all.
Well, they didn't have to wear them. That was the law.
They don't have to wear them.
Or not a law, but they didn't have to wear them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I want to clarify again. ChatGPT and AI has problems that could be wrong, but I want to give you the answer. When I asked AI, was the FBI able to pursue Brian Koberger only after he left the state of Washington after the murders, just to kind of see what it would give me an answer. And here's what they said. The FBI had jurisdiction from the very beginning. They were already surveilling him in Washington state. What changed, they said, why was the trip to Pennsylvania? Why did it matter? At that point, the FBI conducted covert surveillance during the road trip, and agents monitored his car as he traveled across the states. Pennsylvania FBI assisted with the trash collection and DNA comparison.
Okay.
So that's where the FBI got involved.
That's where that comes from.
And I don't know if it's because that he needed to leave, but they got involved apparently with the trash pull, what we call Trashgate, some people call.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
In the Guthrie case, just so everybody knows, there was an update today, and the glove that was found 2.5 miles away did not connect back to the case.
He's a food service worker.
Well, it's good that a glove found 2.5 miles away isn't related to the crime scene, because a glove in the parking lot of a quadruple homicide in Moscow, Pullman, or Moscow, Idaho, was already excluded as being part of the crime scene. So I figure if a glove in the parking lot of a quadruple homicide can be excluded, probably a glove 2.5 miles away from Guthrie's house probably should be excluded. But hey, I'm just trying to use consistent logic, and they're two different jurisdictions. So
see, I took that wrong the first time I heard it. They said it was a food service worker, and I'm like, what, did somebody from McDonald's kidnap her? Is that what you're going to say next, or what? Like, Jesus. And then they clarified, obviously. I'm like, okay, so it's not related again. So nothing's related to her case. Crazy.
By the way, according to that question I asked about the FBI, this again, they could be wrong because they get things wrong. Koberger was arrested December 30th in Albertsville, Pennsylvania by Pennsylvania State Police, the FBI, and under an Idaho arrest warrant. So the FBI apparently was involved in the arrest along with Pennsylvania State Police and
That's what I thought.
using an Idaho arrest warrant. So
Yes,
if
they had
that's
everybody.
right.
If that's correct, good point.
Yeah.
I thought I heard something. Finally got a effing crown you. There you
Thank
go.
you. She's just a devil woman.
Is got a crown for being like a top poster for the night? Is that what
Oh
it was?
yeah, number one,
Yeah,
baby.
number one
There you
poster.
go.
Nice.
Good deal.
Not to jump off too far off subject, but I did want to tell you guys. I don't know if you heard here in Ohio. They found 2 girls in suitcases buried in the east side of Cleveland.
Shit.
Oh.
Never thought they'd find that.
Yeah,
What are
sorry.
their ages? Do you know?
Yeah, their ages are between 8.5 to 13
Wow.
and 10.5 to 14. And they found that they are half siblings.
Are the is it a like old case or a new, or like are the
They don't
bodies
know
new,
yet.
or-
They don't know yet.
Oh my
Yeah, I'm
gosh.
curious what this stems from. Like, are they missing people? Because I instantly thought of Delphi and Lyric and Lizzie from what case
Right.
was that?
Well, it did. Listen, like 2 years ago, I went ape shit one night because I realized and found that there was over 1,000 kids missing in a matter of 4 months in Cleveland, like in the Ohio area, so up in the Cleveland area mostly too. And I was like, holy shit. So I don't know if this is one of them, but there's a lot of runaways and so on and so forth. But
I'm
these two
assuming
are
that's abnormal numbers, right?
a very, very
I mean, I don't know what the
abnormal.
baseline. I'm serious. Like, I don't know what the baseline is.
No, it's
I mean,
very
how
high.
often do kids go missing? Like,
We have a lot here for some reason. I don't know why. But the east side of Cleveland is like, is bad. And they were near a school, like the Ginn Academy. It's like one of those, what do you call those schools? It's got I almost said it. What the hell is it? It's a special school for
parochial school.
No, it's
trade school,
charter school. Thank you. Well,
Charter.
maybe, yeah. And they were close to that. And then about 150 yards from where they found them, SWAT rolls up and they went inside this house and they spent about 15-20 minutes there and left. And there's nothing. So it's just
you're having some serious video problems. Your mic and stuff's breaking up, and you're breaking up on your audio. By the way, Dago, I'm not sure if what's happening there, but you're freezing a lot for me. Do you guys see it or no? Is it just me?
No,
You guys see that?
he's
No, he's
fine on
fine.
my
He keeps
fine on my
freezing
end.
just his, which is weird. Like none of you are doing it, just him. So how the hell did I'm the only one
Well,
seeing it?
then you
That's
say your fan was like from your computer was like hanging and
Logan was asked a question by the way a minute ago that was pinned and we moved past it. It was about
I
they were
answered it
asking
in
about-
chat, but he
Oh,
asked
okay.
again. So he asked, does anybody know where Hunter Johnson's apartment was? Because remember, he was sleeping at Emily's apartment that night. Does anybody know where Hunter's apartment actually was?
See, okay, it must be me. Now
Hmm.
she's freezing up, so everybody's freezing on me, which is
Mark
weird.
B
It must-
said, I've heard Hunter J's apartment was at the Whites. That's what I thought.
I've
wasn't
heard that
sure
too. I've
exactly.
heard they were at the Whites. I don't know if he was staying there, but I heard they were at the Whites that morning. That was one of those wording that I wasn't sure about. I heard that they came from the Whites. Does that mean they were staying at the Whites or they just happened to party at the Whites that night? Because that was the other, they're like, just saying that they came from the Whites that morning doesn't necessarily mean that they live at the Whites. That was my question too. It looks like I'm going to have to reboot and come back into the studio because everybody's getting worse.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Okay. We'll be here. Wait a minute. Where did Dago go?
He also left.
Uh-oh. We're dropping
Oh,
like
boy.
flies here. We lost Dego.
On
There he
another
is.
note-
We're still here.
Was that a
in the
I do
Epstein
know.
case, on another note, Critic Rick says, did y'all hear or are you keeping up with the Epstein files info? There was word that he has a ranch property in Las Vegas and that there's suspicion that graves exist on the property. I wouldn't doubt
I
it.
wouldn't doubt
Wow. No,
it. That
the only thing I heard recently with Epstein was I am covering and watching Candace Owens, and there is some kind of connection with the girls from Romania that has something to do with Epstein. What a surprise. So
yeah. That whole thing goes far and wide. It's
yeah, he's like a worldwide disaster. So
where did Lee go?
he had to reboot.
because
Is that
everybody
why I
was
got
freezing
thrown out
on
the
him.
window?
And, yeah, so he will be back. So
You guys kicked me out.
here we go. We got a question. I'm not sure whose this is.
It's
Right,
mine.
Logan's.
Thank you. She's just a devil woman. She says, I mean, Xana's DoorDash was delivered by Jax. Is that a coincidence? Interesting. Jack in the box, Jack D.
Yeah.
Ah,
What do you
Okay.
what do you guys think about Molly like possibly picking other people up on her way in the area there? I mean, all kinds of rumors of different people, so nothing's definitive. I keep hearing this about this woman Braun
Janelle.
and some other
Janelle.
people. Like, how do you guys feel?
One of my theories was exactly that when Tesdale, or I can't remember which one of them, made this or no, it was the other one, I can't think of his name right now.
Rosie.
Thank you. Said that they he remembered seeing the taillights of her vehicle stopped up in the back parking lot, and then saw 4 or 5 people, or 3 or 4 people, whatever, walking towards that house, but didn't say anything because he didn't notice that they were carrying open containers. So I said, theory wise, all purely my theory and purely alleged, was that did she bring people there to go into the house to do something possibly? It was just a thought
Because
What I
go ahead, Logan.
What I find interesting is, the white undercover car from that night that a lot of people think is actually the car on video, or could have been the car on video, or could have been involved that night. I went back and looked, and after the crime, we never saw that car in the area again. We didn't see it in the background. We didn't see it drive by. We didn't see it parked. We didn't and that was their area. It was right there. That was their detail, right?
They stayed in that area like that whole night, and then that special detail, and then poof, they were gone.
Never saw that car again.
Well, it's funny, Logan, because one thing that Vicky pointed out when she was giving Dylan that interview today that I went over, when she was explaining the balaclava thing to Dylan, she made a point to say that law enforcement uses those themselves for doing raids and undercover jobs and stuff like that. And a lot of people in the chat, when she said that, lit up like Christmas and said, because you have like absolute access in law enforcement to things like that. You know what I mean? And they do use those, so. I mean, everybody has access.
Thread is there. Yeah, the thread is there.
Right.
I still haven't seen, there's a possibility exists, do, some kind of, drug cartel thing or whatever. Could they have a cop on their payroll? Absolutely. It happens all the time. But in this case, I mean, we need more info, but I would tend to believe that, I mean, I saw it on camera. One of these students was a CI, and we know about the contract between WSU and MPD. that they had officers assigned to basically, connected to the fraternities and sororities, and they seeked out people willing to give them information. They actively seek this out. So to me, I know the thread that is there, like everyone automatically assumes like Rosenthal had some kind of an affair going on with Kaylee. Oh, we saw that body camera. He took a picture of her license. I see cops all the time where I work. They take pictures of people's licenses and insurance cards all the time. You take a picture of it and then they go, it's not they're allowed to do it. They take it and then they go back and then they go back to the vehicle and they run it in whatever system. So I know, like, right away, people like, Rosenthal took a picture of her ID. Oh, there's a reason for that. I'm telling you, this happens all the time. That doesn't mean anything. But to me, I could see that, like I said, there was some kind of CI, and the issue is that this happened right under their nose. That, yes, Rosenthal and Tisdale, their so-called job for the night that they're telling us was to look for underage drinking and what. But they also, this happened. I just think right under their nose, and it's embarrassing. And I think they don't. That's what it is. They're trying to minimize the bad publicity. I at this point, I don't think there's enough evidence that I've seen that puts Rosenthal and Tisdale saying that they did anything. He's showing Daddy.
Thank you, Devil Woman. Showing Daddy some love too, buddy. Now tell me, who's the sugar mama? I'm buzzed AF. You guys kill me. I love it. Thank you so much.
How do you guys feel about? I mean, I know people are like drinking or they're doing whatever nefarious activity with drugs that the hunger stuff that comes. But didn't Xana and Ethan get some Domino's pizza? They had pizza like after. After 12 o'clock at night.
It was claimed that they got pizza. They didn't clarify Domino's, but it was that they were eating pizza at 12.
So I mean, would they be trying to get more food? That I don't know.
Well, not those two.
Xana's not. She wasn't. She's kind of a petite type of girl, right? I don't know. It doesn't.
Those two. I mean, I know
not.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't say. I know the plate is there in the bedroom with the curly fries and whatever and all that. So I'm not saying that they didn't eat anything. It just seems like a lot of food.
Well, no, those two were not included in the food with the other ones. Those two did not sit up in the room with the other two to try to get Gower to come back. They were nowhere around. But that reminds me, that was something we found in that
yes.
too. She says. Now, whether this is true or not, but Dylan says at some point damn it, it's about Xana and Ethan being home.
Yeah.
And she says it really fast. I had to freeze it and then slow it down back up like 5 times. And everybody said they heard it too. It sounds like it sounds like she claims, I know Xana was home first, but I don't know if Ethan was with her. I didn't see Ethan. This is the first time I heard that. But what does first mean? Does that mean first before all of them? Does that mean first before Maddie and Kaylee? What does it mean? But I had never heard that until we went through that today. And I had to literally slow it down and back up like 5 times. And we finally caught it. And it sounds like she's saying, I know Xana was home first, but I didn't see Ethan. I don't know if he was with her. So that would give... It, depending on what she means by that, it would give some kind of a timeline for at least for Xana. But I can't see Xana being there if I can't see Xana being there if Ethan's not there.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. I just or I mean, I can't see Xana being there without Ethan, is what I meant to say. But again, I don't believe anything she says. That's my problem.
I see a bunch of people are talking about the Domino's pizza box was in the trash outside. The reason I bring the Domino's pizza is I believe we see Domino's guy delivering on camera at some point. And we also, and then wasn't there also a conversation with the stepfather?
Who? Or no, Xana's dad brought up the conversation.
Xana's dad, right, saying that they were supposedly getting pizza. So
yeah.
I believe they got pizza that night.
Right,
but he had his days mixed up though. Xana's dad did.
Did he?
He said in court that he was supposed to go to Xana's that night, but and I was drunk, and she told me not to drive. I wish I would have. That wasn't that night. That was the night before that night. He had his days completely confused.
And sounds like a 17-minute phone call that may have happened the night before or the night after. I don't know.
Yeah.
And those Domino's boxes, I've heard multiple people say that they believe those were delivered for the officers on scene that day.
Sure.
So,
maybe.
Because if you look at one of the videos, you don't see them, but then you look at another one after the fact, and they're there, so it would make sense.
Was one also for JLR?
No, not this time.
I guess he likes to order food to his crime scene. Right?
Yeah, no.
I'm getting Uber delivered to the crime scene at the corner of 1122 King Road residence.
They were also stating that was it the Domino's driver, maybe Molly's brother or son or something. I've heard.
Yeah, they said that. Well, they don't know that that Domino's driver that night.
Domino's driver, yeah. You know how this stuff goes.
Yep.
So we're kind of at the time where I like to wrap up. I did want to point out, somebody asked me, please look into the Noah Prescove story. Have any of you started that? I knew Dago would.
I've been all over that one, big time, hardcore.
It does look very, very intriguing.
Oh my God.
Right? I was immediately like, wait a minute, this sounds like my kind of story right here.
I tore that one down from ground up, and I'm telling you, it's nuts. It is crazy. And I'm still
now they're in a wrongful death suit. I guess it's not ruled a homicide, but the families are suing a wrongful death suit, and that's what's going on. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah, but it oh my God, Lee, I'm telling you, like it's very sad, and it's sickening what happened to that kid.
And he was found naked except for like shoes, but yet supposedly got hit by a car, but
he was wearing somebody else's 2 different shoes that didn't even belong to him, and all of his clothes were off of him. Yes. There's a whole story I could tell you behind it. It's crazy.
Who is it?
Noah Presgrove.
Presgrove.
I think it's
I think I'm going to dig into it a little bit because it sounds too intriguing.
Whatever you want, let me know.
Also,
I got it.
Also, this Delphi Evansdale connection. What's the Evansdale connection?
Oh, the other. Yeah. There's a bunch of connections.
2 girls that were in Iowa, same age or close to the same age as Abby and Libby. It was when the first one happened, which was Evansdale. It's literally the same date as Abby and Libby's, except backwards, transposed. Same date. The thing is, they died pretty much the same way in a park. Like it was pretty much all the same story.
Pretty much, yes. And don't discount the Flora 4 too. That one is attached to this one too, for sure.
That's attached to Idaho 4, right?
Yes.
Delphi.
No, Delphi.
Oh, Delphi. Okay. Really? I thought, where was that at? Where was the fire? That was the fire, right? Where the kids burned down in the house?
Flora, yeah. Delphi responded to the fire before the Flora Fire Department did.
Okay.
Well, and the person who was the insurance adjuster on the house was the Patty. What's Becky Patty?
It was Becky Patty, the one that the grandmother in the Delphi girls case. Yes.
Libby's grandma.
That's it, Libby. I couldn't think of her name. Sorry.
The insurance adjuster on the house. But the thing is, didn't they just get an insurance policy for like 4 times the amount that the house would normally be worth right before the fire?
Yeah. And
I'm sure that's a coincidence, but yeah.
And one of the guys that was named initially in the Delphi case, Patrick Westfall, lived 8 houses down, we found out, from the Flora house when it burned.
And it was like one of the only black families in town?
Yes,
Or
it was
the only
the
black
only, yeah.
family in town?
There's 6,300 people in Florida, Indiana. 63 of them are black.
Yeah.
They were the only one that lived in that neighborhood right there. And there's a lot of what we found out, because we had the investigators on my show 3 years ago, and then somebody else, they talked about it, that had covered the show or the case the whole time. I could show you the photographs I have. You can see where somebody came in and poured an accelerant all over the house and then lit it. You can see the trail marks of the accelerant. It's that bad.
So, maybe, there you go. Maybe, like, maybe not, maybe so. Anyways, yes, I'll look into that as well. I need another case like Anita Hole in the Head. However, some of these cases go really
They're
cold
connected
for a while, and there's not enough. You're right, and they're kind of connected. So,
yes.
I feel like going down the rabbit hole. So we'll look into that. And I think at a minimum, I think I'm figuring this out. Like I've got a team of people who work with me, so they're going to shoot me for this. But I feel like what we're going to do is we'll start looking into some of these cases and talking about them on Crimes After Dark. And if it starts to get worthy of long form videos, I'll make long form videos once I get intrigued enough. So maybe we'll talk about them on this kind of show, like our variety show, if you will, talking true crime. And if something starts to like, holy shit, I need to I'll do a long form video. So we'll just kind of play it by ear and see how that goes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Pitter patter. Let's get at her.
I'm all about the especially the Evansdale and Flora stuff. That needs more talk for sure. I'm big time advocate for the Flora case because it's disgusting to me. And same with Noah's case. That case just blows my mind.
Why did I think the Flora? It's so weird. I have this weird mental. I'm going to say it again sometime. I keep thinking the Flora case was. I've got to stop saying it because I remember the Flora case, but I didn't remember it being related to this case. So, anyways, whatever the case may be. Ha! See what I did there? Case and case. Anyways, let's close. Let's close tonight and say goodnight so that I can get some organization skills going together and look into some of these other things. And I'm trying to get back in routines because I've been on travel so much, and I got CrimeCon coming up. I hope that some of you will come to CrimeCon, but if not, screw you guys. I'm going home. I'll do it myself. But whatever the case may be, let's do this. Let's go Logan, Dago, Robin, 1-1, and then I'll close. We'll go around the horn that way. So Logan, you're going to get first shot at saying good nights and closing thoughts.
Thank you, everybody, for always joining us and tuning in, and for you guys being the best ones putting on the show. We appreciate all of your comments and all of your thoughts. Do something nice for yourself today. Be kind, but more importantly, be kind to your animals. And thank you so much for letting us hit 5K today. We appreciate all of you more than you will ever know. We love you so very much.
Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. And thanks for everybody that helped out. And hopefully we helped you pick up some numbers too. Some people that saw us or saw you through us. So hopefully we helped contribute to that. But of course, you're doing it on your own, not to take anything away from you. But so congratulations for that. And thank you to anybody that from our show that went over and subscribed to her when we were trying to encourage you to do that, like hopefully every night. So Dago, what do you got for closing thoughts?
Right.
Awesome.
I'm
You're out.
Just kidding. Thank you for throwing me out the window earlier, by the way.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much as always for showing up tonight for us. I really enjoyed tonight's conversation as always. And again, looking forward to the next. As always, thank you to Logan, Robin, 1-1, and Lee. Welcome home, sir. And congrats, Logan, on 5K. Amazing job, of course, as expected. Thank you to everybody that helped with that situation for sure. Thank you to all of our moderators all the way around the board. You guys are absolutely amazing, guys. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Please don't change a thing because you guys are perfect the way you are. Have a great night, folks, and God bless.
Awesome sauce. No pun intended with the sauce comment. But Robin, what do you got for close?
Well, I am so happy for Logan that you hit 5,000. On to the next 5,000. That's going to be, wait till you hit 10,000. And so let's help her get there. All you guys, like I said at the beginning, please like all of our videos. Make sure you're subscribed. Check those notifications again. And we do really appreciate you, whether you're here live with us at night or whether you watch on the replay. It means more to us than you could ever know. And yes, Lee, we are so glad you're back with us now. And we're all looking forward to you getting back into some of the long form videos. We have missed that. We need a good rant, sir. We need a good.
Yeah,
We
I
need a
feel
good
one
rant.
coming on. I'm working
Yeah,
one up.
yeah,
Although I did
do
a
it.
pretty big rant tonight too, so I
That
don't know.
was
I
great.
think
That was
I did
great.
a little
But
bit.
yeah. So, but thank you so much for coming out, everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.
Yeah, and thank you guys for holding the fort down while I was gone. All of you on my panel for doing that and keeping the ship tighty. One, what do you got for close?
Great discussion as always. To all panel members, congratulations to Logan for the 5K. Excellent. Now we'll try to get to 50K. All of
I know
us, everyone.
That
I'd
seems like
like
forever away.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the some people don't realize the work that our creators and these guys and gals put in behind the scenes. A lot goes in, and deep thought and analyzing stuff. It's not always the easiest thing to have, do all these, lives and all these long videos every day and come up with, new and intriguing content, but yet somehow we find a way. I don't know. The Idaho case seems to be the gift that keeps giving, but
Right.
let's in a bad way, exactly. But as funny as it is, the point, there is a point behind all of this. We're working together for a cause with all of the great channels that are here. Thank you to all the amazing mods from all the channels. Always to Amanda, Essie, whoever else we have in the chat, and all the mods from the other channels. We appreciate you and all the work that you guys do behind the scenes, because a lot of people help with all of our stuff who may not be on the panel or they don't talk, but doesn't mean that they're not recognized and noticed and research and all the help they do. So I got two things for you. First is we'll do our quick movie quote here.
All right.
I love this. I love this movie. I'm sure you'll get it within 3 seconds. But
all right. Now you're challenging me. Shit.
Yeah, no, you'll get it. You will, because I know kind of the movies you like, and it's right in your wheelhouse. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya.
Oh, God,
you killed my
come on.
father.
Bitch,
Prepare to
please.
die.
Seriously.
Favorite movie of all time, Princess Bride. I love that shit so much. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, my
and
wife
then
bought me a T-shirt that says,
yeah.
how, those name stickers that says "Hello,
Yeah.
my name is," and you write it on a felt tip. But she gave me a shirt that says "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya."
That's funny.
That's awesome.
And then I'll leave you with this, being that the specialized the training I had today. So just to leave people with a little thought. Listen with curiosity, speak with honesty, act with integrity. The greatest problem with communication is we don't listen to understand, we listen to reply. When we listen with curiosity, we don't listen with the intent to reply. We listen for what's behind the words.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
All righty. Well, with that, I will close us out. If I can find myself, I've moved into a different corner of reality, which happens from time to time, usually on mushrooms. But anyways, that's a whole nother side tangent. The point being is that it has been another great night at the Crimes After Dark. Thank you all for being here. I'm glad that Logan got to share her 5K moment with us live. That was very cool. Glad we pushed over that, or she, I shouldn't say we, she pushed over that level. That's a big, heavy load. And so, congratulations. And I can't remember how long it's taken you, but it hasn't taken you long. It's only been a few months, right? Hasn't it? But anyways, amazing stuff. Thanks again. And by the way, I must be in a froggy mood because usually I tell people I need another case, like I need a hole in the head. And yet I've got 2 cases now that I need to do some looking into, because that Press Grove thing and the Evandale, whatever connection. I'm like, okay, now Now I'm curious. And of course, Dago's already there. Dago does everything. Dago covers everything. I might as well just say, hey, Dago, what do you know on this case? I don't even have to ask him if he knows about it. He already knows the case. Like so what do you know? Get up to speed. So have a great night, everybody.
Sorry.
Again, it's all good, dude. That's one of the reasons why you're here. So thank you all. It's good to be back. I'm excited to get going into long form videos again and getting my shit together and try to get get things moving in a positive direction. Not that they're really in a negative direction, but it is kind of a weird time of year for a lot of us YouTubers. So thank you for all you do. And yeah, you guys, we need a party to celebrate Bronx's 5K thing. That's very, very cool. All right. Have a great evening. We'll see you again next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. I can't even say it. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow night on the Crimes After Dark show. See you again and have a good one.
Have a great night.
Good night, guys.
Night.